Jen Gilchrist here. I'm excited to do a quick, my intention is a quick twin flame check-in. We're going to look at both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Say hello in the comments. And if you resonate with me, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, or comment, as I am just beginning to grow this YouTube channel. I'm really excited to be sharing content. If you're older viewer, thank you so much for coming back. You'll also want to check the descriptions for some ways to connect with me. I do a lot of information on social media, on Facebook. I have a free Facebook group, and I work with mostly women, but now a little bit more of the masculine, to really come into their aligned with their purpose work, their mission work in the world, as well as clearing their limits and their blocks in regards to attracting their union and their really just being in their highest alignment with their purpose work. That's really what I started as. And now that this twin flame journey has got accelerated for me, I'm here giving advice and clearings around that as well. So, divine feminine. Let's start with you so that you can recognize if this feels like you and this reading's for you, for the collective I'm reading for. I did just very simple. The first chunk is all about just kind of what's going on in your head, you know, what's going on in the 3D, what's going on in your mental, in your headspace, you know, what's happening for you in reality. And I had gotten the card, the Three of Wands and the Universe. This is the Sun and Moon Tarot. And I read intuitively. Of course, I do pay attention to the tarot, but I'm mostly an intuitive reader. So what I got was from this is that you've completed a cycle. You've got destiny on your side. The universe is fully guiding and supporting this and supporting you and helping you. And you've got your spark back. You've got your creativity back. When I wanted to clarify the Three of Wands because I feel like there's a small few of you that could have been closing out cycles with past people, but I don't feel like it could have been more like doing the deeper energetic clearing with ex relationships, and that could be true for some of you. In order to just really create the space for the divine masculine to come in. But I wanted to clarify that. And for the majority of you, which is what I was feeling, was more about this Eight of Pentacles. It's more about finding your creativity, finding your passion in your own life, you know, kind of completing the cycles of feeling stuck. It feels like you're really starting to find your own passion and create and inspiration for your own adventures, for your own work. Many of you feeling the call to be moving on, like done feeling stagnant in the purpose work, getting on with what it is you need to do for you. So creating self-generated passion and creativity and inspiration in your life. Okay. And then I looked at what's going on in your heart. There's a little bit of disappointment, Five of Cups. So I just feel like, you know, you've been waiting a while. Like many of you are in no communication. And I feel like for some of you, some of you either maybe just recently had communication or come into communication quickly. But for the most part, this has been a period of separation. And so there's disappointment. There's disappointment and it's been hard. But I love how this Universe card came in and it's really like, okay, but you're kind of done with that. I'm connecting back in with my, you know, I'm getting back into my passion and creativity for myself. And so then what your higher self, like I looked at like, well, what is the higher self? What is your soul self guiding you into? What is coming in for you? Like you're shifting out of this disappointment and stagnance and you're moving into the creativity and self-fulfillment. And three cards popped out. I intended for one, but three popped out and I thought they were like fitting. So I kept them all. And you're stepping into what your higher self is really guiding you towards embodying is all of these higher cups, right? It's all of the Nine of Cups. It's happiness. It's Two of Cups. It's love, right? Embodying unconditional love within yourself first, so that you can be magnetic for divine masculine. And Queen of Cups. And I kind of see this as both. I see first, you know, the happiness, just finding that self-generated love and happiness, of course. But part of it is also being open to love, right? So I feel like some of you were clearing out past energetic disappointments of past relationships, as well as the current separation phase that was disappointing for you in terms of maybe your divine masculine not showing up in the way that you're hoping yet, or just being in separation, waiting for a long time, and it just felt, you know, kind of tiresome. But this is really, you're being guided to like self-generate love, be in the vibration of love, embody love, be open to love, right? Just continuing to do that deeper heart chakra work, to be open to the Ten of Cups, or not the Ten of Cups. Well, basically this feels like the Ten of Cups with the Two of Cups, the Queen of Cups, and the Nine of Cups. It's like that ultimate fulfillment, being open to love, right? Being open to love. So this is about, you know, you're still, I feel like the disappointment and that you're feeling, it's like you're doing a heart chakra clearing. Okay, and so the advice card is Ace of Swords, like take a stand for your truth, speak your truth, new beginnings in speaking truth. So I feel like this is where I kind of was feeling like some of you may be being called to, if you are in communication with your divine masculines, about standing and speaking your truth, right? But speaking your truth lovingly, being open, but being honest in that. But it also, this felt almost more like a new beginning of being able to stand in your truth and speaking your truth. So it's like when things turn back on, whether he reaches out to you, I feel like for a very small, and I'm hesitant on this, you have to tune into your own. I'm not advising that you reach out, but there is a small part of you that if you've been feeling the intuitive guidance to like perhaps just throw a bone and say, hey, maybe it's been a while, you've been out of communication, just really light hello. Some of your divine masculine are not knowing how to reach out, but wanting to reach out. So that could be a possibility for a small few, but really, really, really sink into that and make sure that it's coming from a place of like, this is your intuition guiding you. But if so, it's about taking a stand and being authentic and truthful to you. But for a lot of you, I think the biggest majority, it feels like a new beginning is coming towards you. But this was an advice, so that's why I say, no matter what happens, be authentic in your communication and be in loving, authentic communication. It feels like, okay, open, loving communication, but really still being genuine to you and what your feelings are, right? And then I looked at, what is the likely outcome, or action, like the outcome of this, if you heed the call on what your intuition is guiding you with, and that is Queen of Pentacles. So that's awesome. Like, you're over here, you're working your foundation, and you're moving into the Queen of Pentacles energy, which is beautiful. It means that you're really creating that stable, solid foundation for yourself, releasing and healing any of the past disappointments and ex relationships, whatever needs to be tied up as that completion is ending, and the universe is supporting and helping that, and then stepping more into that open-hearted love, speaking with stability, with truth, and creating that stability for yourself. That's really amazing energy. So that looks really, really good. Congratulations. So now let's look at the divine masculine, and he has like, oh my goodness, almost majority major arcana cards. So this is just meaning he's going through a big internal shift and growth, whether he's showing it, probably not showing it on the outside at all, because he's still kind of in that energy of wanting to present having it all together, keeping it together. It makes him feel safer. Also, I think he's still kind of working it out and maybe not used to knowing how to like talk about this kind of change, but there's a lot of like spiritual change happening. In the headspace, the Devil card and the Page of Cups. And so what I felt from this card is that he's in the process of, and this is in the headspace, right? So he's in the process of unshackling himself, right? Working through whatever it may be. There are addictions and things, but and it could be third parties, it could be alcohol, it could be overworking, it could be whatever his own imprisoned mind, right? His past. I feel like a lot of this is also, maybe he kind of went into a space of, I don't want to say isolation, but kind of like cutting himself off from emotion and love for a period of time over a past heartbreak, right? So whatever it is, he's unshackling. He's really in his mind thinking about how can, he's unshackling himself, and how can he come forward to the divine feminine with a more emotional love offer, right? And again, this can be at different paces. Some people are still in the very beginning phases. Some people, their relationship never got off the ground yet. So it's like, but he is thinking about how can I come back in with a more open-hearted offer. And it feels like it could be small, but he's still working on it. Like this is what he's thinking about, but he's not sure how. That's why I said for a few of you, since this is an advice card, there's a small few of you, tune in and really consider this. If it feels like Spirit is guiding you to throw a bone and say, hey, just to open the door of communication and let him take the lead almost from there in a sense. Because I think in looking at the cards, there's an aspect for a group of them that just don't know how to move forward. They just don't know what to say or how to move forward, or think that there's even a possibility to think that you're just like moved on into something else. I don't think that they fully get this. Some of them don't really get the connection fully on a spiritual level, but some of them are beginning to recognize it's a spiritual connection, or they don't know, maybe that wouldn't be the words they would use, but nonetheless, they're kind of coming through on the other side of this transformation of unshackling themselves. That's what they've been doing, is moving through a lot of, I think they've had lots of different little epiphanies, ahas, and tower moments in the last several months. In the heart, or like, what is he feeling, and it's more of his emotions and stuff like that. Again, there was two cards, the Chariot and Justice. and I clarified what this was about. But in his heart, he's feeling like he's wanting to feel about how can I move forward? How can I come forward in balance and in fairness? So again, it kind of feels like he's wanting to try to figure out, there's not a lot of swords here actually, but when I clarified it was the swords. But with the swords is I feel like he really is still hesitant. Like there's somebody in the past, I feel like, I don't want to say did a number, but kind of like his heart got broken, or there's some level of betrayal or that has made him hesitant and like kind of just closed off to love. And so he's been a little bit more in the casual zone, right, for a while, or just numbing out or ignoring, or just not really open to an emotional fulfilling connection. But he's starting to desire that a little bit more, right? But he's not really sure. I don't know if you'd say that, but I think for the most part, he is waking up to that and realizing that he needs to let this past disappointment and betrayal go. I don't think this is from majority of you. It does not feel like it's from you. It feels like from his past. And he's realizing that he needs to be able to move through and let that stuff go, because he now wants to move forward in a more fair and balanced way. Like he's realizing, I think he's starting to realize that he desires a little bit more. Okay. And for a good majority of you, it's with the divine feminine, but I think he's still kind of self-focused and self-healing right now, which is fine and great. So in the, like, where is his higher self guiding him towards? Like, what is the higher self, 5D self, taking him towards? He's in the magician energy, moving into the magician energy, and he wants to manifest this Ace of Wands. So this is like he wants to manifest and have a passionate new beginning with the divine feminine, right? He wants to have a more passionate new beginning. He wants a fresh start, right? So that is great. So he wants a passionate fresh start. He wants to offer a little bit more of the Page of Cups energy, a little bit more stability with the Justice, and or balance, fairness, right? And then this is where you've got it's like coming into your swords energy with your new beginning as well, but you're like kind of like, I want truth, I want you to speak truth, I'm going to speak truth, but from a loving, open heart. Okay, so that is where his higher self is guiding him to really just, he's actually a good manifestor. Like he knows when he wants something, he knows how to get what he wants. He's just realizing that he's wanting something different than he's used to having, or what he was taking for himself or asking for himself is kind of not fulfilled. It's not working as like it used to for him. It's not, he's kind of noticing the dissatisfaction, or he's noticing the void. He's noticing he wants a little more. He wants a little more of something, right? Maybe not fully ready to give up, I think he still likes freedom, but yeah, anyways, he's starting to wake up to that desire for more, and definitely wants a new beginning with the divine feminine. Okay, so this is the advice card from Spirit to the divine masculine is, while you're in this hermit mode. So part of it is he's still, I don't know that whether you're in communication or not, there's still a ways to go in terms of healing for him and for you, right? For both sides, because we're mirroring, right? But the communication, I think, may come in. It's important to kind of move the energy forward if it does come in, but it's just important that we kind of take what we've learned and move it forward instead of repeating old ways of being, right? Whether, whatever that is, right? Whether for the divine feminine, not speaking her truth or not taking a stand for how things are, just making sure that you're having boundaries, but loving boundaries and not being too cold and closed off, like all of that, just taking all of the past stuff and moving it forward. And so the divine masculine's advice is really to go inward and contemplate what is it that you want. It's the 9 of Cups. It's like, take some time. He's starting to wake up I feel like already waking up to some clarity, because this is what is partly what I'm seeing here in the cards, with him thinking about how to come forward, wanting it to be more fair, a little bit more emotionally fulfilling situation, passionate new beginning. Like he's already starting to have inner conscious awareness of this, but Spirit's saying, go in and really contemplate your happiness. What is it that you really want? If you could have your life a certain way, how would that look? And where are you settling? Where are you cutting yourself short from? What is it that you desire now? Maybe work was a great focus for a period of time, or whatever, single life or whatever it was. was fulfilling for a period of time, but he's starting to feel that that discontentment. Is just not totally sure about how to get from A to Z or what that even looks like. So this is like going and going within and contemplating true happiness. Okay. The Nine of Cups. What does happiness now look like for you as you're moving forward? Because you just went through a lot of change. And clearly there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, that's a lot, and some of them are clarifying. So what's the likely outcome? Sun. He's on track. He's divinely guided. This divine masculine chose to be with his divine feminine in his life, right? So he's choosing happiness. This is how it feels to me. For majority watching this, I have to be careful with, I guess, saying those things but this is like for who I'm truly channeling. This divine masculine is choosing the ultimate happiness, right? Is choosing that ultimate happiness. And so he's willing to do the work. There's a lot of shifting happening. He may not be quite there. There's still more healing to come. If you are in communication, it might not be like, it still might be a while till things fully stabilize, but just every time you end up in a reconnection with them, make sure that you're moving it forward, not repeating past patterns, even if that means, cutting it off, I guess, in a loving, truthful way. It feels like some of you guys in the divine feminine, just make sure that you're still healing your heart. So make sure that you're the advice would be to come from an open heart, do your inner work and healing so that you can come through without projecting through past situations, whether it be it from him or from others. Yes, speaking your truth, but not through a what's the word? Not through vengeance or anything like that. I don't feel like that's the case for most of you. I think most of you is kind of internalized disappointment. And maybe in the past, you actually allowed behavior that didn't feel good. It was more like being a doormat in some ways. So yeah, I'm not suggesting that either. It's just continue working on yourself, building up your strength, moving forward with authentic, loving communication, right? And still having boundaries and working on your own foundation like you're doing with your own creativity, filling up your own love cup, and really filling up your own stability is going to create more confidence for you as well. So that is the reading, the energy check-in. Let me know how this resonates for you. I'd love to hear. Exciting. It feels like movement starting to happen. And for some of you, it may have just happened, may just be happening soon. And for some of the divine masculine, there is still a major arcanas in each and every area I looked at. So there might be still a little bit of, I don't see a lot as lit. I see him wanting to move things forward, actually. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, have a great day. Thank you, and I'll talk with you soon. Be sure to like and subscribe and get your notifications as I will be doing more readings. Also, let me know if you have comments, if you have certain videos, because I do content as well. If you want content around questions about the twin flame journey or your purpose work, spiritual awakening, I work with all those things, as well as what reading topics you'd like. I also like to do pick a card, so definitely give me your suggestions below. Have a great day. Bye-bye.